Assalamu alaikum students. This time I have come up with 10 mark question. Previously you have seen in my video I have catered with 3 marks text source, and this time I am going to explain how to attempt a 10 mark question and secure full marks as per required by the examiner of CAIE. In this, the question is given on the top. This is from section A, D part, 10 mark question. To what extent, and you can see this is May-June 2020 paper. The question is, to what extent were economic reforms the main cause of the War of Independence of 1857? The 10 marks question. Explain your answer. You see on top it's mentioned level 5. What is the requirement of level 5? That you explain and make judgment or evaluation that will be able to make you secure 10 marks at top of level 4 plus judgment and evaluation. You see, in order to secure 10 marks out of 10, you need to write a judgment and evaluation after writing your argument. You are also aware that you are supposed to write at least 4 arguments, including the counter argument. In your argument, there must be a counter argument, and this is what we are going to discuss here. Let's see what is the requirement of the question first. Economic reforms are the main cause of the War of Independence. Now, you see they have highlighted the economic reforms. You see, economic reforms. So first of all, keep this in mind. In your answer, you are going to highlight economic reforms first of all. And this is very important for you to understand what are the economic reforms. The economic policy of the British that was introduced when they invaded the subcontinent. Now we are going to read the economic reforms. The British imposed higher taxation, to exploit Indians' wealth. Peasants and small landowners could not afford this, so many fell into poverty. This is one of the reasons given, one of the arguments given. This is not the question based on factors. This is the question based on argument. So this is one of the argument given, that due to high taxation, the peasant and low class people, small landowners, fell into poverty. Resentment grew because of the resulting starvation and suffering. This is the next point given in the same argument. The sepoys. Now they are coming to the next argument. This is argument number 1 from the economic reform, and now come to the argument number 2 of same economic reform, because this is the argument that has been asked in the question economic reform. So you are going to highlight more points in economic reform, then you are going to write down the counter argument. Okay, the second point is the sepoys were discontented because they did not get a fair deal. Let me erase this so that you may be able to read it clearly. The sepoys were discontented because they did not get a fair deal. The salaries were low in comparison to those of the British soldiers, and they had little chance of promotion. See, this is the second point. Little chance of promotion among the sepoys. They were discontented. They did not get a fair deal. Salaries were low. See, you see, the first point is high taxation. This paved way for the lower class and peasant to fall into poverty. Second point is dealing with the sepoys who were discontented because they did not get a fair deal and they did not get promotion. Okay, now I'm wiping it off because maybe you will not be able to read the points correctly. After highlighting it, I'll wipe out. Okay, now come to the third point. We are still reading the British soldiers. Chance of promotion. They were also angry over the lack of payment of extra allowance for services. Now this is the third point, but related to the army. lack of payment of extra allowance for services in new conquered territories like Sindh. And the East India Company banned the export of cotton from India in 1800. This is the third point. Let me highlight this one. This one is the third point, export of cotton in India. So you see, this is the first point, sepoys were the second point, and the third one is East India. This is first, sepoys were second, and the third one is the last one. East India Company banned the export of cotton. Export of cotton, high taxation, and chances of promotion and low salaries. These are 3 points given for the economic reforms, which paved way for discontentment and caused the War of Independence to take place. Because the resentment had paved way for the War of Independence, and you are going to write down those resentments. So in these answer these points, we have highlighted 3 reasons for the resentment among Indians that is relevant to the economic reforms, and this paved way for the War of Independence. Now come to the other causes. Now these are counter arguments, you see. Let me write down. These are counter arguments. This one, you see. Okay, now the counter arguments. The replacement of Persian and Sanskrit by the English. Here, this is what I am reading. The replacement of Persian and Sanskrit by English as official language. Another reason that caused resentment. This had a deeply upset Muslim and Hindu. That is also one of the reasons that paved way. But this is a counter argument. This is not one of the economic reforms. This is a counter argument. This is the social cause that paved way for the resentment. Now English became the official language, making it more difficult for some of the Muslims to get high paying jobs. This is coming into economic, but this is basically a social reason behind the resentment, and that because the Muslims were unable to get jobs because of this language barrier, this created resentment. And further, now they are coming to the third factor, the third argument, and that is also coming in the social cause, that is abandoning parda among the Muslim women, and practice of sati was also abolished, and this reason, introducing a new rifle, that was the immediate reason behind, because the sepoys were asked to use the rifle that was coated with cow and pig fat, and this created resentment and paved way further for the War of Independence. And this is the last one, doctrine of lapse was introduced. They have given 3 points in this economic reforms, but this is coming in one of the arguments, but this is broken into 3 points, and now they are coming with counter arguments. This is one of the argument given, this is second argument given, this is another argument given, and this Greece Carthage incident, another argument given, and this one doctrine of lapse, this is another argument given. So they have given a combination of counter argument, you see. Let me raise this once again, and so that you may know. Now let's highlight the arguments. 1 into 3 in the economic reforms. They have given 3 points in economic reforms. Acha, now this is the fourth one as counter argument. fifth one. The first, these two are dealing with the language issue. This is fifth one, and this is the sixth one. So in total they have given 6 arguments along with 3 in the economic reforms. So if you add these all, 3 4 5 6 arguments, okay? But in total there are actually 4 arguments. Economic is the first argument, second is this social language issue, third one is this the society, introducing our social reforms, abolishing parda and sati, and this one, and rifle one. This is another argument given in the social reform, introducing of grease cartridge, that is against their religious practice, and the doctrine of lapse as another argument. You see, a number of arguments are given here, which shows that sufficient arguments are given by the student in order to secure maximum marks, because the criteria is total 4 arguments along with the counter argument. This is you see, this one is economic reform, first argument, which is asked in the question, which includes 3 points, and then there comes another argument here including these 2 points, then another argument including these 2 points, and then this third one. So altogether 1 2 3 and 4 arguments are given. Now in the end you are going to write down your own viewpoint judgment, that is based totally on your own. What kind of judgment is required? That you would include the economic reforms as well as the other arguments which paved way for the War of Independence. So this is the best judgment from your side, is that if you write that though economic reforms have paved way for the War of Independence in 1857, but there were other reasons as well, which include the abolition of parda and the introduction of doctrine of lapse, and introducing official English as official language, which created resentment among the Muslims as well as Indians who could not get good jobs. So these are points should be included in your judgment in order to give a balanced viewpoint. Keep this in mind, always give a balanced viewpoint, do not switch sides. Okay, if you give a balanced viewpoint, that would that would enable you to secure maximum marks in your exam. So I hope you have understood this, and still if there are any queries you can write down in your comment section, and please let me know. If you need to have more practice, write down in your comment section. Jazakallah. Bye for now.